Today we are going to discuss Edexcel IAL Chemistry, Paper 3, October 2019. Let's start with question number 1. A flame test is carried out on A. Flame color, the formula of the cation in A is, as the flame color is yellow, so you know the flame yellow color of the flame is given by sodium ion, and you need to write the formula. Please be very careful about this because UG students write the name and they get 0 because they have mentioned the formula. The glowing splint, the gas is formed, the formula of the anion. When the anion is heated strongly, or the solid A is heated strongly, a glowing splint is held in the mouth of the test tube, the gas form. So the glowing splint relights. So the gas form is oxygen. Okay, it means that the compound A produces oxygen gas. The formula of the anion in A could be. So it means compound A contains oxygen and the positive ion is sodium. So it must be sodium nitrate, the compound. So the anion could be the nitrate ion. And why this is nitrate ion? Because when sodium nitrate decomposes on heating, it produces oxygen. So because here the gas forming is oxygen, so it shows the presence of nitrate ion. A series of tests is carried on aqueous solution B. A piece of magnesium ribbon is added 5 cm³ of B in a test tube. A lighter splint is held over the mouth of the test tube. Bubbles of the gas are given off. The gas burns with a squeaky pop. You know the gas which burns with a squeaky pop. What is that gas? Yes, that's hydrogen gas. So you can write the name or the formula, it's up to you. But you must write the formula of the cation. So what is the formula of cation in B? Cation is positively charged ion. So what can be the cation E? You need to write its formula. So it's hydrogen ion. Now, part 2 of this question. Silver nitrate solution is acidified with dilute nitric acid. Okay, this is the test used for the detection of halides. Is added to another 5 cm³ of B in a test tube. White precipitates form. Yes. Which halide forms white precipitates? Yes, chloride. So, what is the name or the formula of the precipitate? So, when silver is added to the chloride ion, it forms the white precipitates of silver chloride. And the name of or formula of the solution B is, yes, it's basically hydrochloric acid. Question 2. Any gas given off is tested with blue litmus paper. A spatula measure of phosphorus pentachloride is added to each liquid in a separate test tube. For which test we use phosphorus pentachloride? The test for the detection of OH ion. Okay. Now, any gas given off is tested with damped blue litmus paper. Misty fumes are given off damped litmus paper turn red. Yes, this is a positive test for hydrogen chloride gas. Now, misty fumes are given off damped litmus paper turns red. Okay, it means compound D also contain OH group. And in E, when phosphorus pentachloride is added, no change. It means it does not contain any OH group because it is giving the test negative. So identify by name or formula the misty fumes produced by the liquid C and D. When OH group reacts with phosphorus pentachloride, it forms hydrogen chloride, and the misty fumes are due to the production of hydrogen chloride. Now, part B, 2 cm³ of aqueous sodium carbonate is added to each liquid in the separate test tubes. Any gas given off is tested with lime water. C, bubbles of a colorless gas are given off which turns lime water milky. So what is this test for? This test shows the presence of carbon dioxide gas. Okay. Now D, no change. and in E there is no change. So, and the identified by the name of formula the gas produced by liquid C. Yes, the gas is produced lime water milky. Yes, it's very common. Carbon dioxide gas. Now move on to next part of this question. Using this information and the results from parts A and B deduce the structure of C and D. You have observed in the other parts of this question that the C contains an OH group because it gives the test for the OH group a positive test. Okay, and C also produces carbon dioxide gas when it reacts with sodium carbonate. Okay, so it shows that it contains the properties of acid. It contains some acid because acid reacts with carbonate to form carbon dioxide gas. So what will be the possible structure of C? It contains OH and it is an acid. So which acid contain an OH group? It's carboxylic acid basically. So what would be the structure of C? It contains 3 carbons. So draw the 3 carbons and it contains the functional group, that is carboxylic group. Now draw the structure of D. Now D also contain OH group, but it gives a negative test with carbonates. It means it is not an acid, it just contains a hydroxyl group. So what will be the structure of D? Basically, it also contains 3 carbon. It contains an OH group, but it is not an acid, so it's an alcohol. Now the mass spectrum of E has a molecular ion peak at m over z 58. Using this information in C deduce structure of E. Now the E is an organic compound having a molecular ion peak at 58. It doesn't contain an OH group because it gives OH test, but yes, negative. Like you can see here, it is not an acid because when it reacts with carbonate, it is not producing carbon dioxide gas. So what is the structure of E? So it's not a carboxylic acid, not an alcohol. So what is this? It's basically, it can be an aldehyde. So if you will check and confirm but through its molecular mass, you can find out that it's an aldehyde. So basically E is an aldehyde. Now give a chemical test and its positive result to confirm the identity of function group in E. So function group in E is aldehyde. So how can we test for the aldehyde? There are different tests which are used for the identification of aldehydes. The Fehling test, the Benedict solution test, or Tollens reagent test. So you can write any of the tests. Like if you are writing the Benedict test, so it will give, or it will turn, or it will give basically red precipitates. If you add Tollens reagent, silver mirror forms. This is a positive test for aldehyde. So you can write any of the tests, Benedict test, Fehling test, or Tollens reagent test. Okay. Now move on to the next part of this question. The apparatus shown was used to find the enthalpy change of combustion of one of the liquids C, D, and E. List all the measurements you would make in carrying out this experiment. Okay, so when you are doing this experiment, basically you are measuring the enthalpy change of combustion. So what you will do, then you will measure the enthalpy change of combustion when you are combusting something. So the heat is produced which will increase the temperature of water, or the so first thing what you will do, you will measure the volume or mass of water of which the temperature is increased. Then you will measure starting temperature of water. before the start of the experiment or before heating the water, and after heating water, after combustion of the compound, measure the final temperature of water. The question is of 3 marks, so you need to write at least 3 points. Then you need to measure the mass of burner at the start and mass of burner at the end to find out how much substance burn to produce, and it produces energy. So you need to write these 3 points. Now give 2 ways other than changing the measuring instrument. You can't write that we will change the measuring instrument and repeat the experiment, or repeating the experiment in which the accuracy of the result using this apparatus could be improved. Okay, so you can't change the apparatus and you cannot change the experiment. So how you can increase the accuracy of this experiment? Okay, so first, putting a lid on beaker to avoid heat loss from water. Okay, then you can also use copper instead of glass beaker. Now I think 2 points are enough because this is of 2 marks. So this is all for